Alright, so we are going to see RC Singapore going up against S11 as the panelists talked about. A lot of struggles between these two teams during the group stages. They have to correct that come the knockout stages. RC Singapore will deploy 505 Diablo Baby Cake Spray and Lolc so far winning only against Occupy Thrones. It even came to a very close 25-minute match. Gonna be going up against S11 with Chan, Papadog, Kai, Jordan, and Erwin. Successful heroes that they have will be between like Beatrix and Xavier for both. So that is also a contested pick. Now that the carry and the 1-1 has been banned, we would expect that the Beatrix will be one of the priorities for both these teams.
Yes, well mentioned there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go into the drafting phase right now. Personally, I always believe 75% of the fights are won in the drafting phase. It's about picking up the right tools for the right job. And right now, both of these two teams, they need to try to ban away what is required and that the tools they did not want to see on stage.
You can already see the respect, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when we watched the upper brackets, we saw that in game one, a lot of the teams, they opt to go just for the regular bans, the prio bans, read out your opponents. But now in the lower brackets, it's a best of three, not a best of five.
Yeah.
You can't risk losing that first game, especially considering that, you know, for both of these teams, momentum is very,
100%.
very important. So Lolita ban, the glue ban that we mentioned earlier, but now it does leave S11 Gaming with the first pick. And honestly, they can go for a lot of different heroes here.
Gaja,
Yves.
Yves is also there. Knowing S11 though, they have now picked Gaja, but they did pick up Fredrin as well as the... actually, they didn't pick Eve. They only picked Eve 1, so this might be not the priority.
Yeah, you're mentioning it. The first pick, a Benedetta, but once again, the best part about a first pick, you can pick a Kaja, you can go for the Fredrin. You want to surprise your opponent with these flex picks. However, a Benedetta, technically a flex, could mostly go into the XP lane. In some rare cases, in certain parts of the meta, you can bring it to the jungle.
This will be the first time that S11 will actually deploy the Benedetta. That's why I'm surprised about it. They did ban out the Lolita, which is also twice picked by RCSG out of their 3 games. Now, I would expect that the answer for RCSG might be somewhere along the lines of Eve and Claude, or like Eve and Beatrix, together with maybe Fredrin also as a choice. Diablo finished second in the MPL SG Seasons 1 and 2, and finally won the champion Season 4 with the Finals MVP award.
Okay, big news right here, ladies and gents. MPL Singapore, Lolc is very, very comfortable with this show. I would argue it is one of his signature picks back at home. But apart from that, the Martyrs is also picked up by the side of RSG, something that Bray has used in other world stages. However, is that what I heard, Wolf?
Oh man, we didn't see the Eve along the group stages, but now, like we mentioned, right, maybe S11 after losing the 2 games, or just the first game against the Valley, they started to just hide their strategies. Now that's finally coming out again in the lower brackets. We didn't get to see the Eve. For the mid lane, it does feel like they have gone for more of these aggressive kind of mid laners like the Kadira, but now with Eve in their hands, they're going to be able to control that mid lane really well, put some pressure down, and the poking and utility coming in from this pick is going to be massive, especially up against the Cho and the Martis that we mentioned earlier. That is going to be quite a threat, right? To end up the drafts. They pick up a Lilia, which is a pick that we haven't seen a lot here at M4.
Yeah, and Burko and Wolf, just to let you know, this is basically comfort zone for RSG. Firefly on the Lilia, Lolc on that Cho, Bray on that Martyrs. These 3 heroes. Technically, RSG is just showing, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to burst you down very quickly, create this zone of area of denial. And then, you know, the Martyrs could come in, use the fact that I'm immune to all the CCs. I'm going to try to take away these neutral objectives. On the other hand, S11 Gaming, I feel like their team, both, correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like it's very team fight based.
Yeah, they definitely want a team fight as well as punish whoever is in front. Which, if you think about it, looking at the composition of S11, they want to utilize this Grok at the front lines, and then they kind of connected together, so they want to combo their World Charge into the real world manipulation, and this makes the Lilia pick so much more stronger. Also, they want to have a lot of laning presence. Lilia is one of the best laning mages out there. Martis is gonna be one of the, I would say, faster junglers, if you think about it. And of course, the Cho can make the early plays, which kind of tells me that RSG SG just like how they faced Occupy Thrones, they want to finish this fast.
Yes, they want to finish this fast. Most of these heroes that they pick currently, Power Spike at level 4. Well, technically, except for Lilia, Power Spike at level 1 because you can just shove your lane and then provide support from the rest of the sides. Apart from that, I'm looking at a lot of marksman bans. Take a look. RSG has already taken away my favorite Leslie, and S11 bans away the clock. Another thing I played.
Oh man! And on top of that, you already have the Wan that was banned earlier, and the
that's
carry,
your favorite,
right? My favorite too, coming out. So there's already 4 marksman bans in total here by both of the teams. RSG banning 2, S11 banning 2. This leaves open just a few other marksmen that's been really showing up in M4.
Yeah.
You know, this is weird. Harith. It's non-marksmen that are actually now up for grabs for
That's
both
right.
S11 and RSG. But from S11, it does feel like they have a little bit more to play with.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Baby Cakes, I think if S11 goes for the Beatrix ban, we're going to really see Baby Cakes struggle in the gold lane. He banned out the Irithel, a pick that I was about to say for Kai that has worked for him.
Well, it will definitely work for S11, but at the same time, SG wants to take that as well. I'm really curious on what they will choose now. Maybe they will go back to the Harith, but that means that they will have an overload when it comes to the magic damage and maybe some true damage, but they will lack in physical. I'm sure that the Martes will not build up damage, want to build up sustain, so that might be a problem now for RSG Singapore. That's why I really find this very confusing and why they opted to go for the ban on the Earthom. Maybe they are interested in taking the Beatrix instead.
Maybe they might just want to actually, like, for S11, looking at that, it's time to ban the Beatrix, right? You know exactly what RSG are going for.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are RSG, during the group stages, Baby Cakes has pulled out a lot of Beatrixes. Baby Cakes, his prime, trademark is that he likes to go towards these late game marksmen, right? He likes to play safe. Well, technically, a Beatrix could play it safe with the Renner shots, but I feel like Beatrix is not really his comfort. He's better at, the 1-1 when he was superior in the MPL SG stage, but now it is the bans going in to be locked in by the side of S11. It is going to be banning out the Lapu Lapu.
I think at this time, right, at this point, if you're RSG, you really need to get that gold laner onto your hands.
Yes,
because it's going to be really risky to let this go, considering that, again, yes, Baby Cakes likes to carry into that late stage. They go for the Beatrix here, and it has to be, right? With all these gold lane bans, it's just very, very evident that they need to pick this up. But now for S11, looking at their bans, it does feel like they want to play into this. They wanted Baby Cakes to pick up that Beatrix. Why? That's the main question I have in my head right now.
Maybe they want to go for the Yuzhong, but they already have the Benedetta. They need to find someone that can dive through the Beatrix as well as output the damage to kind of burst down this Lilia, because you don't want this Lilia to have a chance to reset the stacks and reset his charges of the glooms, right? So you wanna find an XP laner or maybe a jungler that can burst together with a marksman, maybe a Clit or a Harith. That's the only 2 heroes that I can think about. Maybe Brody if you're thinking about burst.
The arts.
Oh, well, they go for a
Not only
Granger.
does that, Merkel Wolf will be seeing another Granger match. I believe he's only picked once, and I think it's also by S11. Falcon, right?
Falcon.
Taking a leaf from another team. They are adapting, and this is exactly what we want to see on a world stage.
I love it.
Love it. But then again, it exposes like the Yuzhong pick, for example, for RSG Singapore, because now you have a anti-marksman composition. You have burst with the Lilia, burst with the Beatrix. I think it's telegraphed. The way that this happened for the side of S11, they banned out Lapu Lapu. Surely that's a anti-marksman, anti-Eve, but that left open the Yuzhong, and they kind of exposed their draft. The way that I see this is they picked up the Brody and the Granger because we were looking for a burst, right? You want to take down the Lilia as soon as possible, and that fits the bill. However, that opened their draft to a Yuzhong answer, which is now all of a sudden a very valuable pick.
That back line is going to be very, very vulnerable to the engage from, like you mentioned, the Yuzhong, but on top of that, the Cho, and even to a certain extent, the Martis and Lilia. Remember, this is such a dynamic draft from RSG that can dive to the back line, but can also play it front to back. That's what S11 needs to get under their win condition, right? They need to understand that before they get into game and before they head on for these skirmishes, especially early game, where the Granger is very susceptible to those ganks.
All right, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, the first match of the day, it is RSG going up against S11. this is a best of 3. Loser will need to go home.
It's gonna be about the burst potential coming out from S11, the way that they should be comboing up their 2 marksmen. But for the side of RC Singapore, if they play this correctly, if they play team fight, play objectively, it will be an easier game for them, at least in execution. But of course, execution is different, you know.
You can already see early on how they've opted to actually play out the lanes here is with a leash, right? The Brody helping out the Granger, and also on top of that, Erwin was actually able to just buy some time in the gold lane by putting the wall down, but it does seem like right now it is RSG who are pushing the pace. With 505 and Bray already in an enemy jungle, this is what you need to do up against something like a Granger.
Yeah, Lozi really need to use the fact that the Cho could be very annoying against the enemy jungle, but Erwin on the other hand, as that Grok could be annoying as well. The first skill does a lot of damage, so it's up to RSG to make sure that Bray gets to level 4 untouched. Once he unlocks the decimation, start going for this early, turtle objective. We saw in the team head-to-head earlier, right, Wolf? The fact that RSG really prioritized these neutral objectives very quickly. However, S11 though, they are bloodthirsty.
I'm gonna be feeling it for RSG Singapore. They need to make Lilia reach level 4 as soon as possible, the first turtle fight, which kind of tells me that S11 might consider getting Erwin to his ultimate fast. So maybe they put him in the mid lane and then put the Eve in the top lane so that they will have 2 ultimates available. The real world manipulation as well as the wild charge. That is their key if they do want to contest the first turtle.
Yeah, but Wolf, I feel like right now, if you notice the rotation of S11, Kai is trying to walk towards the turtle. Baby Cakes, on the other hand, being the late game marksman, would love to stay in lane. But now RSG, S11, they're actually gearing up for the fight right here. Look at that, Bray's already on that turtle for now.
Jotun finally getting that level 4, has the ultimate, but Bray and Lolzy are controlling it. Lolzy jumping in, that's going to be the final blow to the back line. Is Papa Dog's going to be able to find that, but the Petrify connects by Diablo onto Jotun, who's still committing onto the turtle. That was reset perfectly by RSG. S11 still going at it. They want to look for it. The steal will not come down for Papa Dog as Lolzy is able to use the way the dragon to zone Papa Dog away.
Wolf, do you see that? I thought it was like, what? They're putting so much damage on top of the turtle, but the turtle somehow just doesn't refuses to die. It's like an Estes healing that turtle. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. And whoever made that play, I don't know if it's intended, like crazy amount of planning for that one, or maybe it's just happenstance, but either way, it worked in favor of RSG Singapore, who had the better experience. Now, I'm not talking about actual experience, I'm talking about in-game experience, where Lolzy already had his ultimate up, he had the flicker, he didn't manage to land it on a good hero, but then again, they still managed to get their position and settle a territory around the turtle area. Unfortunately, for S11, they had to use Jotun in the mid lane, the jungler, so that he'll get to his ultimate. And that meant that Erwin will not have his. They didn't have wild charge in that team fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could have went wrong for S11 went wrong. RSG already just somehow did that weird turtle reset, and they've also got their items in. Just now I saw Baby Cakes already slowly waiting towards, oh, Diablo.
2v1, able to find a trade, but Jotun gets the kill back on top. He doesn't go for the turret gold up in the XP lane, however, which is very, very interesting here. Still respecting the other RSG members. They're not visible on the map, but let's take a look at the emblems now.
Yeah. Surprised to see a Weapon Master for the Brody, because typically you want to go for a killing spree.
Yeah.
But I guess they want to just take over the early game as soon as possible, which kind of, it kind of speeds up your damage output if you're the Brody. And they do want to go for the burst. That's what we're talking about. That's probably why they chose the Weapon Master over anything else.
Yeah, correct. I feel like the Granger already has that big burst. That's why you give the killing spree over to the Granger, the Weapon Mastery over to that Brody. The Brody, technically speaking, it's like a, this is not a short-term plan that S11 wants that Brody. Kai needs to go for that mile. He's constantly landing down those auto attacks as the second turtle has spawned.
With the second turtle, it comes down again to that control. And in the mid lane so far, it has been RSG. But right now in the 4th minute, S11 has actually been able to clear the mid lane first. But you can see the adaptation from RSG. Amazing turtle reset towards their side. As now, the mini waves are going to be crashing again into the mid lane. Erwin still in the front, getting the wall down as Papa Dog jumps in, but is going to be cancelled out as that's going to be Chan who picks up the turtle. Bray going to be caught. That's a lot of damage. The turtle pop memory finishes him off as Lolzy tries tries to run away, but Kai is going to be able to take the damage down, to pick the double kill up, and to equalize and take the lead back for Argentina.
S11 literally stabilized a very dire early game. Now RSG on the back foot right here. Look at how S11 is actually punishing Baby Cakes. Real one manipulation. Oh no, it doesn't connect on top of Baby Cakes.
Unfortunately for RSG Singapore, they weren't able to utilize their biggest team fight ultimate, which is the Dragon Force coming out from Diablo. That's why S11 found a big opening, and they can burst the turtle so easily because of their double marksman setup. Well, because of the Brody's damage and the Weapon Master, you saw him critting over 1,000 damage onto the turtle. And of course, Jotun being a Granger can really burst that turtle down so easily. And that's why S11 was able to just establish territory this time. A great recovery from the Argentinian squad.
Ice Cream 1 already built for the side of Chan. We notice Jotun is already starting to take more resources away from RSG. Bray has already completed Hunter Strike, so that could be a pulse fight. He needs to try to play around that. Unfortunately, S11, Jotun is a Granger. The early game, aggression that S11, they're looking for the kills, they're looking for these small little objectives, and they're looking really good.
What is that stat line? Well, remember, S11 only won one game in the groups, and Kai has only suffered 2 deaths this M4. That's insane.
That is insane. To think that they are losing the games and they're actually playing like long games as well, like 14, the north of 14 and 15 minutes. And
aggressive comps.
Aggressive comps. This is amazing. Very impressive coming out from Kai, and never doubt his choices now. Brody is proving to be a good pick for S11.
Yeah, but I think, going down this real world manipulation super early on, that big team fight ultimate is going to go on cooldown, especially when the third turtle, the last turtle, that will spawn very quickly. RG, on the other hand, they're desperately trying to shove that way, but Chen, using that real world manipulation, cleared it off, leaving Fire 5 with only a bit of HP left.
Well, we'll see. Once again here with the mid lane control, S11 have the priority on the turtle. Lolzy trying to find an opening here as he pops into the seal, but it's going to be cancelled out. Lolzy going to be able to find the flicker, but it's going to be stunned up now. That's going to be the retribution by Bray. Jotun going to be caught. Has the death to Nana, but it's going to fall towards Diablo, who's able to dive into the back line. Bray with a decimation 2 finds another, and it's a 2-for-1. It's only the roamer falling for RSG, and they've taken a turtle.
Good news over the side for RSG. Don't forget, they entered the team fight 4 versus 5. It is Fire 5 that need forced to go back and reset. However, because S11, they don't have the real world manipulation, opting to use it to clear the waves right off the bat. They don't have that big mega control. And don't forget, Losey coming in at a nice angle right there, Wolf. Yeah, going in, knock up 3, that is good enough.
I definitely want to attribute that to the experience that RSG has outside of the game, because that was wonderful positioning from Losey.
Uh-oh, 505 going to be caught here. Doesn't have the black shoes to get out. A good snipe by Baby Cakes, but Kai, again, going to be able to find that kill. Baby Cakes with one more hit. Kai's going to be punished, overstayed just a bit. And Baby Cakes, when you give it an inch, he takes a mile. That's Kai's 3rd death in this tournament.
That's exactly what we want to see from Baby Cakes, right? Beatrix finally popping off. I'm really happy for him. Don't forget, he's also playing with somewhat of a disadvantage. He's not on stage right now, unfortunately, but he will be playing from the hotel because of COVID.
Yeah, what we saw from back-to-back instances where RSG won is the difference between the experience of the two teams. The first fight is Losey as well as Diablo made the S11 panic, and you see Jotun just desperately try to secure that turtle. Unfortunately, they didn't have the advantage. And afterwards, you saw Kai. He was so desperate into clearing that wave that he sacrificed his life. In exchange for one cart, one cannon, he lost his life and claimed his 3rd death.
Yeah, we've seen how damaging one auto attack is. Now we've seen how damaging one siege minion is right now. Now the map state a little bit reset. Just taking a look at the kill lead, 5v5. In terms of goal lead, not too far apart, but the first lot has spawned.
I think for me, S11, right? The main mistake that they've been doing right now is they're not utilizing the early lead that Kai has. Baby Cakes has equalized and at this point is actually ahead of Kai. That's going to be Lolzy who finds the way the dragon with the GQ no flicker. Everyone's going to fall. The Torn Part memory is going to be able to punish one member down. Diablo's going to dash. He gets the petrify onto 2 members. Zones the back line. Meanwhile, Kai and Papa Dog able to find a double kill. Jotun still trying to find Diablo right now as the other members comes in as well. Diablo going to fall. It's a 3-for-2 for the Argentinians. And just like you mentioned, Jace, the Lord is up.
S11, this is the time for them to try to take the one Lord away. That is a neutral objective that they don't usually prioritize, and now they're adapting. RG, on the other hand, they fall a little bit too far. It is Diablo that overextended a little bit too far, and I have to admit, S11 using Kai and also Papa Dog to zone out the rest of RSG, that's insane, as S11 took this Lord uncontested.
That is the skirmish that I call exchange of prisoners, wherein you kind of trade your explainers. The opposing explainers goes for your backlines, and your explainer goes to the opposing backlines. Unfortunately for RC Singapore, after the fact that the Dragon Form is over, you don't have that teamfight integrity anymore. Whereas if you're looking for the Benedetta, there's infinite amount of damage you can get. And S11 just won that skirmish because they have the better firepower or more sustainable firepower compared to RC Singapore.
Just now when the item was showing Kai is BOD, Legion, anything that has like, that gives you attack damage, he's already have it. This Weapon Master, S11, Kai needs to be respected. Just take a look at how fast he's just dismantling RSG one by one in terms of these turrets. It's looking very bleak for RSG.
It just, as I said, right, I felt like Kai wasn't utilizing the early lead, and just right there, he pops it, has the mid-game power spike, he goes in with the team, and that's what they need to do. Bray is going to be actually taken low here with the real world inflation, and the Death Sonata that's going to be able to find it. Everyone flickering forward to find a wild charge as Lolzy falls as well. Diablo has the Petrify, gets Jotun up, but Kai in the back line is going to be able to free hit. Baby Cake's going to lose a lot of HP, but Kai's going to be able to flicker out. Winner nature by Baby Cakes. Papa Dog diving in, again, dealing a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough to take the rest of the RSG members down. It's a 2 for 2, but the Lord is munching on the turret. Meanwhile, Papa Dog gets the tier 2 down in the mid lane, and RSG are still going to be able to defend for the base turrets.
Wonderful defense coming up from RC Singapore if you think about it. However, S11 just found the opening. I think this is because of Papa Dog's initiation from the backlines. And this is not the first time that Papa Dog has impressed us. Even Mirko casted them outside of M4, and he's already making wonders. I think he learned a lot from that tournament, and now he's flexing it all over RC Singapore.
Yeah, Brute Force breastplate already being built by the side of the Jotun. That's why Diablo is unable to find the target to burst him down quickly before he could do any collateral damage. The fact that, Chan land down the real world manipulation catching 2, that's technically a big stun. Allows Jotun just land down the Death Sonata, but however the kick, wrong side. Lolzy will be able to shove up our dog away, but wait, Erwin's in the back line.
It's a misplay here by both Lolzy and Erwin, but it's Erwin who gets punished down. Jotun looking for a play, that's the real world manipulation. Locking Baby Cakes down as the Death Sonata comes down as well. Baby Cakes flickering out and getting back to safety. Man, it was just out of vision. Lolzy wanted to get the flicker down to get behind, and on top of that, Erwin, he wanted to capitalize, but he just couldn't.
It's very difficult to beat Erwin in this game, actually, because this is like a second pick rock. And you can see RC Singapore, they have so many answers to that. Even just the presence of the Lilia, as well as the Beatrix, make it so difficult for Erwin to initiate with the Wild Charge without the flickers. That's really what happened in there too.
That's right. 10 seconds. It's going to be the Lord has spawning very, very soon right now. S11 is actually mostly doing the fight in RNG side of the map. But wait, here comes the Death Sonata.
Lolzy's got to be careful here. That's a lot of damage being placed onto him. That's the Rover though. That's a big ultimate burnt down. 1 for 0. Jotun almost just bursting 505 down. Baby Cakes looking for a snipe, but S11 right now, 3.3k gold lead. They're on the Lord with a one-man advantage.
Erwin locking away Bray, not even allowing him to step into the Lord pit. He could just go in and try to take the steal, but the RSG decides to give it up over to S11, and this is looking very bad.
A wonderful Lord dance that was choreographed by S11. You might not have noticed it, but it was actually Papa Dog going for the longer lane. So the top lane is called the long lane when the Lord is on the bottom lane, and that is how they managed to disperse RSG Singapore. RSG had to think about their lane up top and also the Lord. Well, S11, that's the reason why they committed the real world manipulation outside of the Lord, because they know that if they fend off RSG Singapore, if they poke RSG Singapore, RSG will not have any shot at taking the Lord.
That's right. If you noticed earlier, right now, if you take a look, it's damage dealt mostly by Chan with the real world manipulation, right? And not only just that, as Yonsei is also sending this Lord all the way down top. It is very vulnerable. RSG technically do have, the Beatrix, the Bandit's Rage with the bombs as well, should be able to help to clear out the wave. However, RSG, they need to make a play. It's all up to Lolzy to be able to pick up the right targets at the right time, like how he did in the early parts of the game.
That's the siege coming down as S11 finds the base turret. Bray gonna be
Lolzy.
zoned away. Lolzy trying his best to look for that Jikundo, but it's gonna be punished in the end. That's a flicker forward. Kai almost finding the kill out of Bray, who's still gonna be able to get out. Kai dealing a whole lot of damage to 505. His baby cakes here is not gonna be able to defend the mid lane turret. Erwin flickers forward, finds the wild charge, and that's the Petrify to follow through. But in the back line as well, RSG are gonna be able to find the two marksmen from S11. Erwin gonna fall to the decimation as that's gonna be Bray picking up a triple kill. They're looking for the Maniac. Bray is walking them down. Papa Dog and Chan able to get out with the utilities. Lolzy jumps in, not able to find the Jikundo. Chan still just kiting back, dealing damage. Lolzy forced them back away. RSG have won, but they lost 3 base turrets.
It's a very expensive loss, Wolf. RSG, that was a good defense, but they need more. You saw how hard it is for Lolzy to just step forward, and you saw how confident Kai is on this Brody. I think this is like a hidden ace in the sleeve.
Yeah. And Baby Cakes just survived long enough. After the initiation coming out from Erwin, there's some hesitation coming out from S11. But imagine if they chain together their Benedetta, Purify, and Electro Blow with the Wild Charge, and of course the Real World Manipulation, there will be no chance for Baby Cakes to survive. He did survive because of the Wind of Nature and because of the fact that he got out of the Real World Manipulation, but it would have been the death of RSG Singapore had it not been that Baby Cakes was able to survive. And S11, surely they are executing properly, but they need to be more coordinated in those pushes. Still, RSG Singapore on the back foot.
That's the Petrify, and that's Papa Dog getting out. That's the damage coming through from Kai. He's gonna
my
be able to
goodness.
actually dish him down. Both Baby Cakes and Lolzy falls down. Diablo trying to find the saving grace here, but Kai's gonna be able to stun him up.
no.
The Petrify will not be able to save him. Diablo gets the immortality in time, but now in a 3v1, it is Chan who picks up a triple. 505 gonna be sandwiched here by both Jolton and Erwin. That's 505 still cutting away. Jolton gonna be caught low. 505 versus the world, and it's a maniac for Chan. S11, the Argentinians are looking for the end.
Chan, the real world manipulation is so crazy, and it just does Bray left, and they're gonna have to try to fight this.
Torn apart memory by Kai to zone him away. S11 strike first in the lower brackets in a best of 3 up against the Singaporean champions.
GG well play over to S11, the Argentinian. Fans must be cheering, even though everyone was voting against them. They showed us,
Master Curse.
oh, we are raw RSG, and RSG don't want it to be the final game in M4.
Absolutely. I can expect that S11 will also ban out some of the comfort picks coming up from RSG Singapore. Just like in game number 1, you have that outlier, the Lolita ban, the third ban coming out from S11. This time, it will be their first. And guess what? This is one of the comforts of RSG Singapore. Played it twice out of their 3 games during the group stages and were very comfortable with it. And it seems like S11 did their homework.
Oh man,
They did.
RSGSG have already opted to go for the first pick, right? So far in M4, it does feel like first pick has had just a much better win rate, better games overall, even though, again, usually, well, previous patches have actually been very advantageous for the second pick, right?
Yeah.
Because you get the last pick in the first phase and the first pick in the second.
I think the best part about, being second pick is that you get to pick 2 prior picks, right? You trade away 1 prior pick away to the opponent, and then you take 2. Whereas right now, there's so many good first picks, like the Glue, for example, which already got banned. There's also that Eve that is wide open for RSG to take over the side of 505.
Same band so far, as you can see, it's just the Joy and the Glue that's traded back and forth, but the Eve is going to be prioritized. This is what I expected in game 1. I expected the first pick to just go for the Eve because of how oppressive she is in lane to poke and even initiating. You're so good now with the changes being made to the real world manipulation where you can't be cancelled by any CC except for the suppression.
Well, the Kajas was the Valentina is available, which kind of means that Kaja, you can lock down the Eve eventually. And having the Valentina also allows for you to steal that real world manipulation. Instead, it's going to be the Benedetta as well as the Claude. The comfort picks coming out from S11, particularly this Benedetta, which Papa Dog really played well in the previous game.
Yeah, I think Gideon was talking about this, right? Papa Dogs being able to cut not only just the ways, I would say, cut apart the team fights, making it super difficult for RSG to synchronize together to fight as a team against a team fight composition, right? S11, on the other hand, I would have thought that they went for the Yuzhong because, you got an enemy Eve on the other side. I think that is a no-brainer over there, but I think that could be disadvantages over the side of RSG as well. Diablo very comfortable on this Benedetta 2. He would not be able to get his hands on it.
Give
Man,
me a target.
the Claude first pick and the Leslie instantly. This is why I was kind of, I'm doubting the Claude pick. I don't really agree with it because again, first pick early on, very easy to counter.
Yeah.
You could see RSG just want to walk the Claude down.
Exactly.
A Lapu to dive in. You already have the utility, the poke, and a Leslie that is a counter matchup in the gold lane.
Are we going to see like something like a Fredrin coming out from S11 earlier on, or maybe are they going to answer the Eve immediately? Like the Valentina is also still there, but they can pick it up if they want to. I like the Lapu-Lapu pick because it has good laning matchup versus the Benedetta if ever. You can also cut the lanes, and you can team fight much earlier compared to a Benedetta, which kind of means that you can activate this Lapu-Lapu against the Claude the early stages of the game, snowball through it. We're looking at Kadina. Okay. So what they wanted to do is really just to burst down the members of RG Singapore, utilizing the rough waves against the Eve. You might not cancel the rule of manipulation, but you can take down the Eve.
Yeah, I agree with you, right? I was thinking about, the Valentina would be good right here. You want to fight fire with fire, you want to fight water with water, right? You want to fight real world manipulation with real world manipulation. Create that Venn diagram in the middle of a team fight, and then no one stays around. But however, S11 prefers to fight with water instead. Kadita to try to find the burst, and it's very flexible. Not only just you can find the burst on top of that Eve, you can also find the burst on top of that Leslie as well if you can catch her.
It's such a smart move, honestly, now looking at it, right? I was, questioning the Claude pick early on. First pick, by the way. We haven't seen that in a long time, especially not on M4. But with the Claude pick, it did actually bait out the Leslie. That's also very vulnerable to the dive that right now S11 have drafted for, have, gone for. You can see the Kadena, the Benedetta. Leslie's not going to have a good time, right?
Yep.
Even with the Yves behind to help the Leslie, I think, again, we could just go back to when last time I saw this kind of composition, it was Blacklist International playing at IESF for Philippines, right?
Yeah.
They played the Leslie and the Farsa. A bit different towards the to the Eve, but still, that's a lot of dive going up against this kind of range composition that can be very, very bad for them.
So now that we can expect more jungler bans against RSG Singapore. So far, what they have played, RSG Singapore played Martis, and that is played like at least twice already, all throughout the matches of RSG Singapore. There's also that Ling that RSG have also deployed before, which might be of consideration, especially against a Claude that can dive with the Lapu-Lapu and the Eve.
I personally feel Mirko and Wolf, RSG, like what we said, just like what we start off the day, right? This is do or die, what they've said. And not only just that, this is not only just a survival of the fittest, it is also a struggle of the fittest. The team that dropped this particular game will go home, and RSG is one game away from that. Yes, it's a very scary place, but I think RSG should be able to stabilize this. I have to believe in them. They can do this. And of course, showing support over to my homeboys. However, on the side of S11, they're banned away in Akaja.
Well, for me, I think it's the opposite right now. Unfortunately, Jays, with the bans here, they've opted to go for Grok and Atlas, and I know exactly what S11 are going for. At least, I think. Kaja ban, Marta's ban. They're opting to go for an assassin in the jungle, preferably Hayabusa. That's Jotun's signature pick. And right now, it fits so well. You're up against the Leslie. You've already banned out that Kaja. They go for the Kufra first. That's another hero that can be good up against that assassin. Thing is, for S11, they don't need to rush it. They can even go for the Haya or the Link, right? There's two options. Meanwhile, for RSG, I don't think they can go for the assassins here. That's Kufra pick to counter it, and there's only 3 heroes that can really just maneuver away from the assassins.
Heroes that I can think of might be like Fredrin, for example, that can control. There's a lot of taunts, a lot of knock-ups, a lot of crowd control, technically speaking, and you don't have a lot of dashes, and you can be in the front line so that your Leslie as well as your Eve can be peeled through by your supports. And that also means that you need a way to scout. Diggy.
Bro.
I don't think
They
so.
pick up the Ling.
Oh,
Feels like RSG is
okay.
feeling assassin today. Feeling like a Ling. He will be going for that Ling. At the same
I like
time,
the
Lozi will return to his Ruby roam. I don't know what to feel about the Ruby roam. Personally, I feel like a Franco is a lot better, but feels like they need that AOE. Want to hook as many people right into the real world manipulation.
Well, I can see why the Ruby can work here, right? But honestly, look at their composition. There's a huge hole or weakness point in the back line with the Leslie.
Yeah.
I thought the Diggy was going to come through just to go and defend into that. What? Wait, it's not a Hayabusa, it's a Pikito here up against RSG. It feels like with the Pikito pick, they feel they already have enough backline threats towards RSG, so they pick up a Pikito. They can do a bit of both. But in the jungle, we haven't seen. Is this the first time a Pikito has been picked?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the second time.
This is the second time. The
time.
first time was picked by Blacklist.
Exactly.
Yesterday,
In the
I think.
jungle? No.
No, it's not
Not
in the jungle. In the XP lane.
Exactly.
But this time around, it will be going into the jungle. Pikito
Wow.
getting nerfed out of existence because of meta, but
Are we even sure that this will be a jungle Pakito?
It looks like it. There you go.
Well, it is. Right now, you can see it's
Johnson.
yeah, it's Jordan's actually playing it. So that will be a jungle
Wow.
Pakito. Okay, so what they wanted to do is to really get into the back. Let's have a one-hit combo, if that thing exists.
Is
in
it
the-
high and dry Pakito?
It should be.
definitely.
You wanna eliminate the Leslie as soon as possible. You have your ways to close the gap, and you have a one-shot combo with your ultimate to take out the Leslie. And that also means that you can also dive with Papa Dog. So there's a lot of dive coming out from the side of S11. They don't have much peel for their Claude, but even the Claude, if you think about it, even the Claude is also a dive kind of hero. So it's all about dive for S11.
Yep, it's all about that. But ladies and gentlemen,
man.
oh my God, Erwin! This
no.
is not a good start for RSG.
No.
It's a horrible start for RSG. Bray did not use the retribution and he has the killing spree. So this is going to be S11 who's going to be able to actually control the jungle for a bit early on. Erwin with the purple buff. They're going to be able to dictate the early game.
For sure. And definitely the turtle is going to be in favor of S11 unless they like die multiple times. But knowing that there will be a level disadvantage for the Ling means that you forfeit the first 2 minutes of the game.
If you are the side of RSG, this is really hard to watch. And not only just that, Jotun is on that high and dry. You notice Pakito, find your back line, he's gonna hurt like a truck. And right now, it's all about the side lanes. RSG needs to play around the side lanes as quickly as possible. Get that Leslie up into the late game. Get that Lapu Lapu up in the late game so that he can tank and peel for the team.
Oh man, again, you know, you can already see the mid control here. The wave clear from S11 is going to be
Bray.
very good. And you can see already that's going to be
No,
Bray.
Erwin's there.
Erwin finds it. He catches him while he was jumping on the wall. Erwin has a personal issue with Bray. And that's first blood over to S11.
The pathing coming out from Erwin. He went from the pixel brush to the rock or the bush, and then going for the Kramer's bush to really cut down where Bray was going for. They heard that Bray is going for the crab, and they have punished duly. My goodness, Erwin.
RSG, no,
Johnson.
that turtle going down.
Going to be able to find it right now. Johnson going to be able to get out as well. Erwin and Papa Dog onto 505. One more hit. Papa Dog's looking for it under the turret, secures it. 2-0 Jays. How you feeling?
Man, S11, they're stalling on top of RSG. Merkel, seriously, this has gone from worse to horrible for the side of RSG. I'm not going to sugarcoat it right now. Let's take a look at the items, Wolf.
Oh, not only the items, like you're looking at the economy. If you're looking at comparing the junglers, 1.5k to 1.3k in the early stages is such a big dent in the economy of RCSG.
Speaking of dictating the early game right here, Chan was holding on to the rough waves there a bit too long. Baits out the flicker out from Lolzy, and maybe that's what they were going for. Not the kill, but to bait out a resource to push RSG to a false sense of safety. But here, Erwin, doesn't find it.
Look at how S11's dictating every part of that map. A wonderful start for S11, and of course, not only just that, right? Ling is practically like, it felt like, you know, he's playing with a handicap. S11 has like a 5-minute head start, and RSG is in that big disadvantage.
1.2k at 3 minutes is really bad. Lossy gonna be caught.
He is still going to be able to get out, though. Maneuvers out of the breath of the ocean as well. S11 with a 1.3k gold lead right now. Not really going to be able to get some more kills, but they will still be able to control the enemy side of the jungle. 5 seconds for the purple buff, and that's exactly what S11 wants to look for. Jotun in position. Prey already on the purple buff. RSG with 505 rotating are looking to help Prey. But now it's going to be Kai jumping in. Erwin's going to be able to find a Tyrant's Rage and the Flicker combo. In the back lines, though, it's going to be RSG who are able to turn it around. It's a 2-for-0. Papa Dog against the world. Jumping in. Liber Diablo, but will fall as well. In the end, it's a 3-for-2. Making it a 3-for-3. Chan not able to find Baby Cakes just yet, though. No damage.
Not enough damage right there. Baby Cakes will be able to limp away alive. But RG may have taken a bit of damage, at least this time around. Ray does have that purple buff and will be going over to that turtle. So that is one way of RG to climb this back. However, S11 though, they've got Super Omega Burst already in the mid parts of the game.
Good idea coming out from S11 to invade the purple buff, but bad execution because RSG were prepared for it and they went in too deep. S11 just really dove against RSG, duly punished by 505 with the ultimate. They were really under the strongest point for RSG Singapore. Even after the big disadvantage when it comes to economy, you don't dive like that. And already, S11, this is a massive blunder.
RSG going back into gear number 1. They need to slow it down, but they need to go hard. But Chan finding 505.
Not going to be able to find the kill just yet here. You can see for the M4 stats, win rate of first pick, 59.26%. That's pretty massive, right? And here, everyone's going to be able to actually find the Tyrant's Revenge and the Rage onto Lulz. He was able to flicker out, but Jotun's right there with a knockout strike. Baby Cakes, perfectly timed to get Jotun off of him. But S11 have the pressure now in the gold lane. Baby Cakes going to be sandwiched. Jotun already jumping in there. Just zoning the other members away. 505 forced to flicker. That's the high and dry doing work. Jotun not able to find the purple buff steal. And that's S11 who are able to actually get Kai into a winning lane in the gold lane up against this matchup.
Exactly. The effect of that aggression coming out from S11 is that Kai is able to push a turret, make himself farmed more than the Leslie right now, about 300 gold ahead, and he's going to get his golden staff, which means that his farming rate is going to be exponentially better.
Papa Dog, gotta be careful here, has everything to get out, and RSG wasted a few resources to just get there now.
Yeah, he's too slippery for RSG to catch right now. And don't forget, Diablo is also one of Benedetta mate. He knows how to give it up. But RSG right here, if you notice how Baby Cake is going in, Berserker's Fury going towards the Endless Battle as well. It's a very high damage build coming up from this Leslie as well. But Erwin charging out, 505 may be in danger.
Oh man, 1.5k gold lead, not the end of the world, right? Definitely not. But uh-oh, Chan already is going into the enemy jungle. Bray's looking for it. S11 are playing it really well now, taking it slow. Chan's gonna be revealed. Erwin jumps in. Lolzy on the top side, and Baby Cake's looking for a trade, but it's Kai who wins out, and it's a disaster for RSG. S11 find 2, make it another with the turtle secure 2, and RSG failed to find a trade. Erwin finds the Tyrant's Revenge, not able to find the Tyrant's Rage. Oh my goodness.
It's 3 at the turtle pit, 2 at the top side. 2 cannot catch the Claw, and at the same time, RSG skewed attempts on that turtle. I think S11 managed to sandwich RSG right into submission right there at the turtle, and also losing the bottom side turret as well. But let's take a look at the emblems, Wolf.
Yeah, wow. Definitely the high and dry is going to be the big problem for RSG Singapore. You can see that he can burst down the Leslie as well as the Eve, or if not able to take out those squishy heroes, force out some of the battle spells. Oh no, Diablo going to be found, not die for now. And another problem for SG is the dive, right? Coming out from Argentina. You saw that in the last turtle fight. It's not even a fight because of the pokes that Papa Dog was able to do, as well as Chan just positioning himself so that he can burst out any of the members of SG. Eventually, RSG Singapore will have to answer, and that means that their formation that they wanted to have will be destroyed!
Erwin with a play, and Kai with a follow-up. Under the turret is Papa Dog with a final blow. Bray's gonna fall. Lolzy is 1. It's a 3-for-1, and S11 only lose Erwin.
It's an Omega Dive coming off S11, bloodthirsty. And then after that, translating into objectives. And RSG right now is just leading not only just members, but also map control.
What a play!
What a play. RC Singapore, they will feel very secure under their turret. But my oh my, Erwin is making a case for himself as one of the best setup tanks that we have in M4.
Wolf and Merkel, nowhere is safe for RG, but here we go.
Oh my god. Papa Dog even against two. Forcing Bray away. Chan finds the damage onto Lolzy. That's the frontliner taken down very low. He has to recall, and you could see the map control is gone. Absolutely gone for RSG.
S11 has full map control. This is their map. This is hit their side of Land of Dawn, and that translates over to Lords. Multiple objectives as well. Bray and Papadog going at it again. RG cannot even catch him at all.
Erwin's feeling it.
Erwin's feeling it, as well as Chan. Look at him. 2-0 with this Kadita. Positioned already very aggressively, because he knows that there could be a follow-up. Anytime he makes the jump, we'll miss it for now.
Kai gonna be able to get that blazing duet down on Karakai. Diablo so low, forced to use the bravest fighter defensively to get out. S11 are right now styling on RSG.
This is bad. 505 already committed the room of manipulation. This will be a third push coming out from Argentina. Because of that Kai aggression, a big ultimate was down for RG. Look at Erwin!
Erwin finds the revenge and the rage onto Lolzy. He's going to be taken very low, flickering out. Erwin now caught in the enemy base. Bray's going to be able to jump in, but that's going to be Erwin who flickers out. Once again, is Chan jumping in, zone the other black line away. Papa Dog with the final blow, getting back to safety. S11 unable to crack the base just yet.
They're trying to defend. RG literally throwing every single utility, every single thing, every single ultimate they have in their pockets just to delay that push, but that is not the real push, because the real push is this Lord that's marching top side menacingly against RSG.
Let's see. The Lord is already munching on the top lane base turret. S11 not really going to go for anything too crazy here, knowing they still have an 8,000 gold lead. They decide to back off, play it defensively and disciplinedly.
Now they wait.
Oh my, never mind.
No, they won't. No, they won't. Erwin finds another jump. And Bray is also asking that question. How is it that Erwin is always able to find these openings and Bray bites the dust? 4 deaths for the Ling.
It's really tough for RSG. Bray has no access to the purple buff at all, and Bray has no access to the jungle at all. The gold lead is going to gap even further as well. Lolzy unable to land down on that. I'm offended, and Kai going to backline.
Kai melting down the back line.
Oh my
goodness! With the rough waves. Chan is going to be able to jump in onto Baby Cakes, finding another.
No way!
RSG have lost their back line, their high ground defense. Jotun with a knockout strike, still able to actually get out before Bray jumps in, but the shielding comes in. Bray's going to be taken low, and that's going to be the Tyrant Revenge to lock him down. The I'm Offended's appeal is not going to be enough as S11 march forward once again. It's a 3 for 2. They've cracked the top and bot base turrets open, and they're looking for the mid lane. Diablo jumping in with Bravest Fighter, but he does not have enough tankiness. Lolzy melted down, flickering out. Diablo getting out as well. S11 back off, but RSG have lost 2 base turrets.
That's really tough to watch. RSG right there, literally throwing every single thing, even a flicker, just to get out dodge. It is was Diablo buying for time for BBK to come back online just in time to try to push this off. But then again, a nightmare is going to get even worse because the Lord has spawned and RSG cannot afford to challenge this Lord.
You can see that Chan is really styling on RSG Singapore, going in with Kai. And even his ultimate, the Rathways, was able to catch one more additional member of RSG. That's why they eventually got the double kill. And now the conceal play, Erwin and Chan.
Papa Dog as well, buying so much time for a seat.
Oh no,
Chan finds Baby Cakes. That's the goal later down. Diablo finding stun, looking for more down. With the flicker again, and kind of follow it up. Diablo's gonna fall. Lolzy's gonna fall. It's 4 for 1 for S11. Bray finally finding one, but S11 have wiped out the Singaporean champions. Just waiting for the Enhanced Lord to march down. 14 seconds on 505. 5 seconds on Baby Cakes. The mini wave spawning once again. S11 just need to get rid of the mini waves right now, and it is all over. RSG have been knocked out of M4 by S11 Gaming.
S11 Gaming, the Argentina fans, surprise every single one in M4, and they show that they are not a team to be looked down upon.
Sasageo, bro.
Sasageo. Erwin for the win, man. What was that? You saw it from the start. He stole a purple buff. In the mid lane, he landed a wonderful Tyrant's Revenge. And in the last moment, with Chan, they are able to find Baby Cakes. And then the Flicker ultimate just to lock down Bray in the end. They are styling on RSG. Really deserving of this victory.
Merkel, Wolf, that was the longest Lord March that ever happened in MLBB history. It's like, you know for certain that is it. And RSG was unable to defend their slot. And there you go on stage. A valiant fight. Don't forget, it is also Baby Cakes and Coach Dolly that's not on stage as well. Shout out to them as well. But S11 Gaming, thriving in the lower brackets. They will be going up against Falcon in the next bracket.
Give it up for S11 Gaming, another dark horse in the mix. Outstanding performance by the man you see on screen. It's Erwin leading the pack to victory.
The stealer of purple buffs, the bane of lanes, this bouncing ball, this Kufra, it's just something that is really hard to deal with.
All the plays that they made between like Chan, between Erwin, even Kai, aggressively going up against RSG Singapore, disrupting their tempo. They talked about how the Singaporean squad is based on team fights, on their formation around these big turtle fights, these big objectives. Argentina just did not let that happen.